Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Rockingham and Keene, and welcome to the feed. We're back.
We're back. We missed a week.
We missed a week, so we're all discombobulated, and we don't know what we're doing.
What are we doing?
But it's July 19th, 2023. We're here on the feed, and we're going to start with local events with Marty.
Local events at the Bells Falls Opera House is week 2 of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Spoiler alert, it doesn't come to a resolve. And part 2 is not coming out until next year.
And there's a writer's strike, so they're not even sure.
Oh, no.
And an actor's strike.
Oh, my gosh. How's it going to end? Anyway, it's 3 hours of a typical Mission Impossible movie.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Because I don't want to go on like I did about John Wick Part 4.
All right.
Okay. Classic movie is, I think, the next to the last in the anime series, Whisper of the Heart. And it is sponsored by Leslie's, Dairy Joy, Simone Styling Salon, Sean Roberts, and Hunter Studio. So I just want to point out that's an awesome way if people want to sponsor a classic movie, yet they can't afford the entire $300, get a group of folks together and sponsor it.
And this anime series is a great one to sponsor. I was there last week, and the line was out into the street.
I saw that.
It was incredible.
So, yeah, and then make sure you get your business on the slides in the movie theater.
Exactly.
I like to see them only have to repeat once or twice, not like 3 times. So at Next Stage this Friday night down in Putney is going to be, the Vermont Suitcase Company is going to be presenting The Feeble Fantastical. Starts at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at nextstage.org. And I think I didn't see it prior to this, but I saw it on Facebook. I believe it's also going to happen at Main Street Arts. So the Vermont Suitcase Company travels around as a traveling troupe. Thursday, August 17th, Cider Presents is offering Ryan Montbleu, I hope I said that right, Montbleu Band at the Opera House. So another music option at the Opera House, sponsored by Cider Presents. Tickets are available at the Bells Falls Opera House website. Super easy to get tickets through the Opera House. Just go to the website, go to events, click, 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 you're done. There's an online auction happening for an agency called Caleb's Cherubs. Cherubs. That's a mouthful. It's a nonprofit organization that really wants to promote equity for children, and one of the biggest things that they do is help with school supplies. Interestingly enough, I guess school supplies are something that are now on the responsibility of the child to have for school, more so than it used to be. So some kids don't have a backpack with notebooks and all the things that they need. So this is one of the things that Caleb's Cherubs does, and we'll find out more actually in August, because the administrator or the creator of the nonprofit will be coming to visit us. But in the meantime, you can go to ccefvt.org, click on events, and you can bid on online auction items. And there's a ton of gift certificates. There's restaurant gift certificates. There's crafts. There's car detailing. There's teeth whitening, which I thought was a really unique and kind of cool auction item.
Does the same person do the car detailing and the
teeth? I think so. I think so. They vacuum and make sure that they're all polished. Yes. And then there's a dinner. You can have a dinner, like someone volunteering to cook a dinner, a private dinner for like 6 or 8 people. So go online and check that out. It's happening through the 20th, and then we'll be giving you more information when Linda visits us on August 23rd. And speaking of fundraisers, I'm sure everybody out there is more than aware of the flooding that happened last week. And one of the places that was most hard hit was Ludlow, as I say, one of. Mm-hmm. And here's a great picture of exactly what it looked like in front of Smoke and Bowls on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday of last week? Time goes
Yeah,
by fast.
it's-
On Tuesday of last week, that's where Sarah DiBernardo, everybody knows her of Smokin' Bowls and the soup stand up by the I-91 exit. But she just had moved into a brick and mortar, had just fulfilled her dream, had just gotten that little portable truck that you see floating back there, and all of it is a loss. She was renting the space. The owner of the space, I guess, didn't have flood insurance. She couldn't get flood insurance because she was a renter. So they're looking at a big fix. So there's a GoFundMe for Sarah. You would just look for GoFundMe on Sarah's page or Smokin' Bowls page, or generically look through GoFundMe. And if you have the means to do that, that would be awesome. She also could still use actual labor to help with the cleanup. So I just wanted to put that out there because Sarah does a lot for the community. She's like the go-to catering person. She always has time to cater events. I don't think she's never told me no. Like, I don't have time, I'm too busy. She always makes sure she squeezes it in. So she's done a lot for the community. If the community can give back, it'd be awesome. And you have another one too.
And I'd
Laura.
throw in there that Pete's Stand, which also does a lot for the community, even though they're in New Hampshire. It's one of my favorite places, and they've done a lot with the farmers market in the past and everything else. They didn't get hit directly by the flood, but when they released the water the day after from the dam up here, they released so much water that it flooded their fields, and they lost several of their fields. So they're looking, if you go buy something, that's always good. But they also have a donation jar on the counter. So if you want to go over there, say hi and help them out.
Perfect. So speaking of community,
Yes, this is our community show.
this is our community show. So Terrier Hall of Fame, give us a little bit of background about how it got started.
So the Terrier Hall of Fame got started back when I was a senior in high school. So that was a
Couple years ago?
A couple years ago, let's just say that. No, 1994 is when I graduated. And I was the vice chair of the student council. And I thought to myself, one of my role models was Mr. Coyne. And he was my teacher at that time, and he was also the advisor to the student council. So I thought to myself, because I had grown up about 2 houses from Mr. Coyne, and I thought, why we need something to honor, because we have such a rich tradition. The word terrier and the color purple mean so much to so many people. What can we do to do this? So as a project, I pitched the Terrier Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Went through the ranks of going to the principal, going to the superintendent, and then as a senior in high school, going in front of the school board as well.
That is actually the big
So it's a
thing.
little
Yeah,
scary,
yeah, exactly.
Every step of the way was supported with no feedback or no flat back. And so we started that. We ran it to about 2001, 2002. It just kind of fizzled out for a little while. And I'm not 100% sure. I think it was in 2018, 2019. People started talking about it, so we started back up. We're fully funded on donations from the community, so this
that's
isn't
nice.
anything that comes from the school
Taxpayer
budget,
money. Yeah,
taxpayer
that's
budget, right?
good to point that out.
Our group has done a fantastic job of getting donations, through a lot of, as we talked about the community and how they give back, there's a lot of people that give to us. So we ran it, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years. We do a dinner appetizer type thing ceremony, usually at the Legion, because they're gracious enough to donate the hall for us to use it. And then the next day usually is, we try to coordinate around homecoming week now. So we also try to honor these people at halftime of the football game
nice.
on
Oh, nice.
Saturday
Very
afternoon.
nice.
So this year we're looking at September 29th is when we will actually induct our class, the class of 2023, and then September 30th at halftime we will kind of honor them, with just kind of their names and flowers, and their family comes out with them.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that component.
Yeah. So I mean, as anybody knows, as you guys do a lot for the community, it's not just one person. You've got a group of people around you, behind you, and underneath you that support you so that you can do what you're doing. And so really, yes, the honor goes to one person, but it's a family type thing, family and friends. The one thing that we're key on, and you'll see when we announce our class today, it's not an athletic Hall of Fame. You can, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the committee's goal is to honor people who give to the Terrier community. And the Terrier community can be the Bellows Falls Middle School. It can be the Pee Wee Football League. It can be Little League. It can be all sorts of things that give back to the community and to the kids that eventually they're going to filter through the high school.
I think people think of it kind of as you think of it's only football.
Right.
And I think that's important that you pointed that out, especially with so it helps to explain why some of the nominees are in there.
Yeah. So you'll see. It's one of our missions right now as a group is to educate people that it's just not. It's not. I mean, there are some people, if you look at our long list, there are some people that, maybe they're great athletes, but they also do a lot for the community too. So you'll see me when I introduce our 5 today. I've only got one little thing about athletics, and that's it. One person, one little thing of what that person did. That's it.
Nice.
And I just, and like we were talking, it's kind of cool. I know all these people, and I've had interactions with all these people, but you don't know what they've done until you see these nominations come in, and as a group.
And that's really important, because that, just like you say, you may see them on the street, you know who they are, but the depth and the breadth of
just
what
the
they
little
do.
things, and hopefully in my introductions I've got one little fun fact of every person that really kind of, to me, sets them, a little higher. So
Nice.
if you're okay.
Without
Sure.
further
All
ado.
All right. So we have a class of 5 for the class of 2023, and our first inductee. And again, this is exclusive. We have not put this out to the community yet.
Oh,
So
great.
right for your
Thank
show.
you.
Nice. We got the
A
exclusive.
first right here.
So our first inductee for the class of 2023 is Stanley Budzik. Stan is a 1970 graduate of Bellows Falls High School. Most people know him as a bus driver. Okay, 28 years that he has driven bus for the school district, and 10 plus of them as the director of transportation.
Wow.
So not just driving the buses, he then coordinated it for a good amount, and he still does to this day. And he does a lot of not just the pick up in the morning and bring kids home in the afternoon. He's one that will bring them to the game that maybe is up in Burlington for 7 o'clock, and then come back. It's said that he's dyed his hair purple on many championship games that he's driven to. And I know for a fact, because my daughter's played in a few state championship games, they let us, he specifically too, lets you decorate the bus to the nth degree.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And the one really fun fact that I would like to pass on that was in his letter was, for 16 years, Stan has gone to the Westminster Center School Thanksgiving feast with the kids and sits with the kids whose parents can't be there, maybe because they have to work.
Oh, nice.
that
But
is
he's
nice.
there and he gets to sit with the kids that maybe they don't have a parent there. So that's, that's nothing he gets paid for. That's truly out of Stan's heart. So,
Nice. Well, congratulations to
Stan.
Stan.
yes, so we'll see him on the 29th and the 30th. Our second inductee is William Bill Burton. I know him as Mr. Burton.
Me too.
His real name's William, but everybody knows him as Bill. Bill is 25 years as a science teacher at Bellows Falls High School and Bellows Falls Union High School. So he saw the transformation. He was really known as the science teacher, but also he coached, and people out there may remember, may not, because it's been a long time. He's 13-year head coach of the Bellows Falls Nordic ski team. We haven't had a cross-country ski team in a long time. And he ran numerous state meets for the state and for the kids. And one of the fun facts that I learned too on this one is we have a lot of trails outside of the high school. Mr. Burton is one of the ones that was inspirational in getting that done.
Nice.
So, and
And
the
we do
community uses
have-
it all the time.
Oh, I know. We have and we've
An
been able to
extensive-
build on that trail system, and I think now they're most of the trail systems are interconnected.
Yeah.
Like the Bald Hill trails are connected to the high school trails. Yeah,
So-
I know, Mr. I will forever call any of our high school teachers Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. I just
Yes.
can't go with the first
It's
name.
hard for me.
Yeah.
I officiate a lot of sports, and I officiate with Coach Bisbee, and I still just can't. I just gotta say, hey, Coach. So,
Yeah.
our third inductee is Brent Leasai. I think Brent is really well known for him and his family putting on the fireworks every year at Old Homes Days.
Yep.
Yes.
And I know that even though that they can't go down there and light them off now anymore, he's still very integral in the fundraising to have the funds to put on what I think is the best fireworks show
Oh, I
in
think
the
so.
area by far.
Oh, definitely.
He also is known for 40 plus years as being a volunteer firefighter. The fun fact that that I see with Brent is I didn't know he was the 2013 Chamber Person of the Year.
Oh, nice. That's a fitting tribute.
Yeah,
to-
it is.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
one of the things is what we were told in his application from his loved ones is, and it's true, he never says no to the community. So I know as a Hall of Fame, when we go for, hey, we need maybe some chicken wings or
Yeah.
something like that,
They're
he
there.
never says no.
No, he doesn't.
I know him and his family has for years Gatorade to the football teams, to Pee Wee football, all that kind of stuff. He's just there for the community. And again, that goes back to not an athletic Hall of Fame,
Exactly.
but community Hall of
Community
Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Our fourth inductee will be Mary Lou Masuko. She is a 1969 graduate of Bellows Falls High School. She taught at the middle school, we go back to not just the high school, for 48 years.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
46 of them, and I only knew her as the art teacher, but she had 2 years where she was kind of, before she took over the art department there. And I can remember we had a drama club at the middle school. Because I remember it was in my 7th or 8th grade year, I was in the show Steamboatin'.
Nice.
Really?
Yes, I was Captain Bill. But she was integral every year of getting the scenery done. And that wasn't part of art class. That was, hey, I want to get this done for the kids. Some of the other fun things, we used to go on a trip called Sand Ranch. So if you guys, I don't know if you've heard of Key Wading.
I know I've heard of the
Keene,
Key Wade, and that was
up
Yeah,
in the
Camp
Gilbert.
Kuwait.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah, so that was
post
like
my
a
time.
spring thing. They had
Yeah.
a 7th grade trip to Sand Ranch in the middle of the winter.
Oh my
So,
God.
and she was a 7-year volunteer of that.
Oof.
She was on
That
the
takes
teachers-
some
chutzpah.
It does. 25 years with the photos and putting together the yearbook at the
Wow.
middle school. She still helps out whenever possible. She is the person who really started and still keeps up the garden program up at the middle school. And this is the fun fact is not a lot of people get the UVM Teacher of the Year award. Mary Lou got it 3 times.
Nice.
So,
And I can attest
perfect.
to having, living in that neighborhood, that she oftentimes was the only person keeping up, in
Oh,
the
I bet,
summertime,
I
keeping
bet.
up the gardens
Yeah.
up there. So
She's amazing.
Dedication.
Yeah.
And that's all grant funded, all that. So she's going again, not taxpayer money, and getting some kids during the school year to kind of get involved in kind of gardening and growing and stuff like that.
But in the summer, she was solo
Yes.
for the most part.
Yes. Our fifth and final, but not last, but Ed Vancourt. So Ed is a 1981 Bellows Falls graduate. Ed is really known for his dedication and time to Pee Wee football. So Pee Wee football is one of our strongest community sports run program. And it's just not football, it's cheerleading too. So he's been the treasurer for, I want to say 23 plus years.
Wow.
And one of his key goals is when you play Pee Wee football in other areas, it could cost a family up to like a $250 registration fee.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow.
it's an expensive sport,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got insurance and equipment and all that. They still, I think, only charge about $40 or $50 per kid.
Wow.
And that's because Ed's Tire's dedication to just raising money. I know he does a golf tournament for the Pee Wee football tournament that just is huge.
Yep.
Huge. And I know that he coached Little League for a while because he coached with me.
Did he?
And the one thing that I really look not the one thing, but one thing with that is he's kept involved. A lot of parents will get involved, but
Once their kids age out.
he hasn't had a son in Pee Wee
Yeah.
football in years because we coached his son. He hasn't had, but he still continues to do it and has the passion. And my fun fact that I found out about Ed is Ed went to the Marines. And the night before he went to the Marines, he pitched for the Bellows Falls Post 37 Legion team. He pitched a one-hit shutout against Springfield. And then the next day, he went off to camp.
Nice.
So
Nice.
That's a good one.
yes.
That's excellent. Well,
Yes.
well
And
done.
so that's, like I said, that was my little bit of athletic, but then not much. I mean, so I urge you to check out our Facebook page.
Right.
We will have tickets for sale at some point, probably coming up towards the end of August. But we urge anybody, next year we'll come on and ask for nominations. This year we're a little bit busy and I couldn't book
Yeah,
the right time.
explain the nomination process.
So-
Go if people are watching,
Yeah.
it gets them thinking, because obviously you rely on the nomination
Nominations,
process
yes.
to figure out who's going to be.
We've had some people say, I can't believe so-and-so's not in the Hall of Fame. And then we
Nominate
kind of
them.
say,
Don't nominate them.
we have to have them nominated. And it's funny because some of those comments, when the person nominated, you're right, they should be in the Hall of Fame. And they get in usually first, for some of them. So we open nominations around, I want to say, around March. We'll post them on Facebook. We'll hopefully, like I said, this year I was too busy to try to get them. We'll get in to kind of open that nomination, and then people can go online and nominate. I think it's open for about a month and a half to 2 months, and then we meet at the end of May, and then once we've notified everybody, this is when we kind of announce.
Now, do you get more nominations than get in, or do you accept everybody?
No, we have people that do not get in.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we have a voting process of like
Criteria.
Yeah, criteria. So our criteria is very simple. It's kind of a 10-year rule. So we honor graduates. You have to be out at least 10 years. Community members, you have to be involved for 10 years. Staff members, 10 years. And then coaches have to coach for 10 years.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of people hit all of those molds. As you see, some of those people were graduates. I think only Mr. Burton was the only one that wasn't a graduate, but still came into the community and gave a lot. So it's a fun process. Since we've restarted, we kind of revamped it a little bit this year for voting purposes, but I think it's working the way that we want.
And it votes just the board that decides votes,
So
or how does that work?
So we have two committees. We have an organizational committee, who we're the ones that kind of oversee the bylaws and that kind of stuff, and then we have a selection committee. In that selection committee, we actually have some other people it's the organizational committee plus some other community members. So we do urge people, if you're interested, get a hold of us. Again, on the Facebook page. We do have a web page, but you have to, it's easier to go through the high school page and the community links just because it's tied, it's complicated. It's just not terrierhalloffame.com or .org. But, let us know. We also, one of my passions when we restarted this one was, when I started the Hall of Fame, it was started by the Student Council. So we always want students involved. So we always have 2 students on the selection committee.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
good.
that's good. That's
So,
excellent. Actually, gives you kind of a different perspective.
It does, and
Yeah.
it gives them a little bit of perspective.
Well,
And,
hopefully a little
yeah.
bit of motivation
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So little birdie has signaled me that we have about 3 minutes left. So I think it's important so that to let the audience know, just remind them of how to get their nominations in, and then when the ceremony is, so people can go to it.
Okay, so this year's ceremony is on September 29th at the Legion. The time will be usually around 6, 7 o'clock, but we'll get that information out. For the class of 2024, we'll be looking for nominations in around March, the spring of 2024, where we'll have that open for a couple months online. So look at the Facebook page. Then as we talk, we do have a web page. If you go to the high school web page, click under the community tab, you'll see Hall of Fame. That will put you right there.
Okay.
But our group does a good job. On the Facebook, they'll be just click and you can put a nomination in. So
Nice.
That's great.
and
Thank
we want
you.
as many as we can get.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you for
perfect.
coming. And you brought up that about Brent Leaside and the fireworks. I know they're collecting money right now for the fireworks, so get over there and give some money.
Yeah. Every time you go to Lisa, just drop your change in the buckets. It's easy. Easy.
Okay, and that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on the feed.
Bye, community.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. My